And welcome back, family, to the return of Metaphysics on your mind again. Welcome back.
All right.
Tony and I, we had originally had planned on taking a much shorter break. Thought it was going to be a few weeks. And just speaking for myself, I was moved to take a longer break to not to get too metaphysical, but we'll just say my higher self and me decided that we needed to do some inner work before we proceeded further. And then, you know, things in life come up. You had some health concerns that fortunately have worked out in your favor during this. I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but you know, that's just what I'm alluding to.
Yeah. Well, basically, I've just finished up with my treatments. I was undergoing prostate cancer, so I'm happy to say that I have completed all my treatments. I've gotten my final injection. You know, I was doing radiation and everything. So.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Right on, bro.
You know, I feel blessed, you know, that, you know, everything went well. And,
cool.
Yeah.
And there you are.
Yeah, here I am.
So he, you know, was doing that, and like I said, I was doing some other stuff, and also kind of contemplating how we wanted to kind of come back out and what approach we wanted to take. And in that process, or during this hiatus, the extended hiatus, our mother passed. And I don't know, for those who don't know, Tony and I are actually brothers. And our mom passed, about 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Yep.
And it was, you know, hey, she was 85, so she lived you know, I would say that's a fairly decent length of time. It was unexpected. I won't say that she, you know, passed of old age, but you know, it was kind of an unexpected thing, which we won't go into too many details about. Yeah. But at the end of the day, she passed, and so, you know, we just dealt with that, and you know, now we're back to get back to it. But it caused, you know, we were reflecting on just, you know, the cycle of life, right? My mother and our father, they were from Detroit, and you know, my mom was the oldest of 13 kids, seven girls and 6 boys. Mm-hmm. So it was a pretty, you know, big family back there. And they, after they got married, our father got an opportunity, an educational opportunity for professional school, and that's what brought them out to the West Coast. But anyway, when you think about where they came from, you know, you think about Motown back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And then you think about the West Coast, it kind of brings to mind how one generation to the next generation, there's always change, there's always movement. That's the constant that we have in this existence, right? Is nothing stays the same. Everything has a change. There's a cycle of life. Probably the only thing that I can think of physically that is constant, which we kind of think of as without change, is the sun rising and the sun falling every day, right? Mm-hmm. it's not the only thing, but we think about that as being the most prominent in our existence,
Right.
the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that cycle of life, I thought, well, she did 85 years, and we talked about how in the zodiac, of the 12 signs, roughly each representing 7 years of life, 12 times 7, 84, she kind of got the whole cycle from where it starts in Aries, at the beginning of life, the ram, the lamb, all the way to the end to Pisces, to fishes. So, I thought about, as a matter of fact, it's simple. We can go, this is the quadrants of life. We start out in the spring, right? Summer, the summer of life. And in the spring is roughly, 0 to 21. Roughly about the time you would, if you go the sequence, I guess, of the academic protocol, then you'd be hitting college, right? And then the summer of life is roughly 21 to 42. That's why we say, the so-called midlife crisis in the 40s and 50s or whatever, because you're roughly halfway through life, right? And then we have the fall. Roughly 42 to 63, right? So that's, you're kind of leaving the mids going into, the more senior years. And then you have basically roughly, up to 84, roughly, if we use our zodiacal, blueprint as to kind of how the seasons of life, right? You're born, life is good, and you're learning, and you're growing, and then you maybe start a family of your own at some point, and that there's that experience. But the point is nothing stays the same. There's a cycle. There's a birth, and then there's a death. We're all born, and we're all going to, our bodies are going to die. Because from my perspective, there are no dead persons. There are dead bodies. Because if we follow the idea that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, as it's referred to as a spirit made flesh, okay? Once the flesh goes, the spirit doesn't go. The spirit is part of that which is eternal. Again, that's the perspective that I have. Yeah. So I was just thinking about our mother in terms of, okay, she had the cycle, and it is reflective, in the microcosm of our lives, is also the same with the macrocosm of the cosmos, man. There's a sequence of changes that we don't control, right? We're part of that process. Mm-hmm. And some of us are, maybe fortunate and have a long life, and maybe some of us are not so fortunate and life is abbreviated, right? Something happens and quote unquote you pass or you die prematurely, whatever that actually means. But the idea is, we call this particular video beginning again. Because life is made of cycles, right? We talked about the cycles of 7, 12 cycles of 7, which is, 3 cycles, 3 cycles, 3 cycles, 3 cycles of 7, 12 cycles in all. Metaphorically speaking, if you get married, there's a cycle to that relationship. Mm-hmm. If for those of us who've been married, for those of us who have been divorced, there's a cycle that comes out of a separation. Life is if you won't say necessarily renewed, you are beginning again. And we do this throughout life in many ways. Someone, again, like our mother, who may have been an integral person in our lives, is removed, right? So now moving forward, your life is a bit different because a prominent component or relationship or personality in your life has been removed from the scene. So you're in a way kind of beginning again, right? You're not starting from scratch, but you may be changing your trajectory of life, because our trajectory can be changed by the decisions we make or that we don't make. See, you might make one decision, you get to a crossroads, a junction in life, right? Get to a junction and you can go left, you can go right, or you can go straight or whatever. And based upon the decisions you make, that cycle that's a consequence of that decision has to play itself out. And it will. It could be in your favor or maybe not so much. Maybe it could be another karmic lesson, as they call it. And you can keep repeating cycles until you get the lessons.
Right.
So anyway, the point here is that we're back. This is kind of a brief one just to say, hey, you know, we didn't fall off a cliff. We're we're still around, and we'll be back with some more episodes and some changes or whatever, and we'll kind of get back into the groove of things. And it's, you know, hopefully in the interim or the period that we've been away, all of you are well. You know, I think we can all feel that there's an energetic shift. As a matter of fact, I would say that this title could also play itself out, you know, worldwide, in the sense that many of us, for those of us who choose to, have the opportunity to engage with this energetic shift. We talked about the age of Aquarius. We talked about the age of revelation in the scriptures. It's an opportunity also of beginning again. There will be endings, but there'll also be beginnings. One door closes, another door opens. It is the balance of life, right? If there's life, there must be death. If there's death, there must be life, at least in the physical.
Yeah.
Okay? So beginning again is kind of what we're doing, kind of beginning again after this, like I said, extended period. But I would say also it's an opportunity for many people to begin maybe a radical reassessment of self, and ask ourselves, can you begin again? And what are you beginning again to do? These are just questions that can kind of get the juices flowing, because you're not the same person today that you were yesterday or the day before, whether you recognize it or not. We're in a constant state of change, evolution or de-evolution, depending upon, you know, again, the decisions that are made. So once again, it's great to be back, and we're gonna get right back to it. You got any final words for the return?
You pretty much summed it up.
All right.
It's good to be back. I'm sure everybody was wondering.
Yeah, what the hell happened to these guys? No, it's all good. Everything is good. You know, it's all gravy, and we're grateful to be here and want to continue to share, you know, our experiences and what we're picking up along this journey of life. And again, I just want to say that we're going to move forward kind of with this concept of beginning again, because I think it resonates on a personal level, or it can, and also on a collective level, right? We can allow things to go the way they've been going, or we can step in and say, you know what, maybe we need to do a little tweaking here and there. We do it, you know, within ourselves, and then we can then extrapolate from that, and we can then project that out onto the mesocosm, onto the world that we live in. Once again, peace.